Good morning, my friend. Welcome to the fourth hour. It's great to have you along this morning. Let's see what is new this morning. These are stories that I have not previously shared on the radio show today. Let's start with this one because this is just a piece of, this is a delicious little morsel of news. CNN set to lay off hundreds of employees today as part of a broader effort to restructure the business. So let's see what they have about. Yeah, I think there's an extra zero on here. Should that be 35,000 worldwide employees? Yeah, it's probably got to be 35,000. That, yeah, that comma's in the wrong place there. Anyway, decision to delay layoffs until after Trump's inauguration highlights the evolving media landscape. It's constantly changing. But CNN is getting set to start the layoffs in the new Trump era. Melissa, you're asking a great question there. That's a great choice. I love the story that I shared with you the other day that CNN executives with the team about Trump's inauguration and saying, "Okay, we want to tone it down. We want to forget about all of the, everything you've been talking about the last 4 years. Forget all that. Let's concentrate on Trump, the inauguration, so on." That just made me absolutely laugh, and I thought that had to have been a foul meeting. Can you imagine? I bet many of you have been in a meeting like that, where you're hearing this from management and you know that folks who are coming out are like, don't like it. So of course that makes me laugh like hell when I hear about that. Also, issue of the Panama Canal. This is interesting. Panama writing to the United Nations as Donald Trump calling for retaking the Panama Canal. So they've written to the United Nations. I want to see the latest. I know what Trump has said. We've talked about it. So they've expressed concerns over Donald Trump's rhetoric about the Panama Canal. Article 2, Section 4 of the Charter says all members shall refrain in their international relations from the threat or use of force. Yeah, Donald Trump didn't do that, did he? Let's go back and take a look at his actual comments. He said, Panama's promise to us has been broken. The purpose of our deal and the spirit of our treaty has been totally violated. American ships are being severely overcharged and not treated fairly in any way, shape, or form. So he accused Panama of handing control of the canal over to China. So and I had some stories. I don't think, wasn't he asked about whether you would do that by force? And he said, didn't he basically just say, I'm not going to respond to that question. Why would you ask me that question? I'm not going to respond. Would we take it by force? I'm not going to say that. So am I recalling correctly? Because that's certainly the way that I had viewed that. So, yeah, I think Robert is saying, I got a journalism degree, and this is why I didn't enter journalism. Yeah, absolutely. I understand what you're saying. And she's saying, Robert, people like Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, tons of others agree with you why they got into journalism. Yeah, and I think versus why people are getting into journalism now. There is a big difference, I think. So some of the folks that have gotten out of journalism they're still pursuing it independently, privately. Um, and you understand that. And it's like, I hate to see good people leave journalism. What I would like to see is more bad people leaving journalism. I would like to see more of the Jim Acostas leaving journalism. And they're constantly crying about this or that, or how difficult it is, and how difficult Trump's making it for them. And it's like, hey, find a new job. Find a new job. I'm fine with that. So it's pretty incredible. Also, there's a story from Fox News that I wanted to share. First images of the ICE deportations. So this is Fox News. They are embedded with ICE. I've not had a chance to look at this much yet, as all. Here you go. ICE racking up hundreds of arrests. Yeah, imagine what that is like today, because there were, as of yesterday morning, they were saying there were, and again, these were yesterday's numbers, like 304, something around that line, and they're just getting warmed up. I mean, they're just getting started. In this case, an illegal alien was an MS-13 gang member who had been released to one of the sanctuary cities. Tom Homan, we talked about what Homan has been saying at length on the morning show this morning. Let's see what else is new here. A lot of this just gets repeated. They're repeating things that you already know, we've already discussed, already reported on, commented on. Agents arrested nationals from a slew of countries, including Afghanistan, Angola, Bolivia, Brazil, Colombia, Dominican Republic, Ecuador, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Mexico, Nicaragua. Wow, this just goes on. Pretty crazy. So you're getting the first images then of the ICE deportations. I want to take a look and see if Fox News has anything. This is foxnews.com. If they've got anything else. Schumer lashes out at Trump over Trump's extremist pick. Oh, what else is new? I mean, this just makes me laugh. Donald Trump is the extremist. These people have been in power for 4 years, and you have seen just one unconscionable thing after another coming from the Democrats, coming from Joe Biden. And now it's actually, this is like, grab the popcorn and it's party time as you watch the Democrats reacting to Donald Trump. Honestly, it just makes me laugh. So I'm seeing if there's any other big stories this morning. The big one, I think, is, moments from Donald Trump's interview with Sean Hannity. And I mentioned on the air this morning, I'm curious, did any of you happen to see that? Did you watch that? Donald Trump's interview with, actually, it was Sean Hannity's interview with Donald Trump, the conversation that Trump had with Hannity. I'd be curious to get your thoughts on it if you watched it. Robert saying, I heard Art this morning, one of my callers, Art. He really believes we're going to pull children out of school. It's good that Fox is showing what's really happening. Totally agree. And Art, it's just, forgive me because I lose my patience with him. I start out nice. I sit there, I listen, and it just gets so bad that I have to interject. And especially when he is, and he's saying, well, they're saying to start, we're going to do this, but the end game is, and I'm like, who's hiding that? Who is hiding that? That's what they're saying. They're saying we're going to start with the worst of the worst, and then we're going to work our way down. They've been saying this before Donald Trump even took office. Tom Homan was out there saying, you're in the country illegally. Best thing you can do is leave the country now. So they're out there and they're saying this, repeatedly saying this. And so then I listened to this from Art. Oh, what they're really after, they're going to be removing children from schools. And I'm like, okay, you're done. You have burned through what little patience I have, my friend. I try. Am I not? Robert? Did I not try? I was trying to get through to him, but it's just absolutely incredible, um, and you can't fix that. You really can't. I I wish I knew how to appeal to those people in a way, and I tried to do that. I'm like saying, yeah, you're not wrong, but and then of course he has to leap to the absurd, removing children from schools. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's where we're going to start. We're going to start with the children in school, who are in the country, brought here, give me a break. Again, I'm just saying, I mean, I watch events pretty closely. A lot of you do too. So we watch events pretty closely. What in the world is saying that? Nobody is saying even anything like that. So it's just like that is paranoia. I can't think of any other word to describe it because it makes no sense. What causes people to immediately go to those kinds of um it's just absolutely beyond me. And also what I find amazing is, there are so many things in this country that I see and I just shake my head and I don't bring it up because I think it's not worth your time. For instance, New York Post had a story about Kamala Harris serving up another word salad. First of all, Kamala Harris is no longer an elected official. Okay? No longer an elected official. I'm glad to get her out of the headlines personally. As to what she says, she served up a word salad. What did you expect? That Kamala Harris suddenly has had some kind of overnight, conversion and is now able to communicate in a way that people actually will understand? I mean, that's hardly a surprise to me. I'm like, ugh. So there are so many stories like that I see that I don't share on the air because I just think, let's concentrate on the things that are really important. Let's concentrate on things that are important. And, some of the reaction, again, I just have to shake my head. Some of the Democrats this week. So how many hours now has Donald Trump been in office? How many hours has he been in office? It's less than a week, only a couple of days he's been in office. What about the economy? Donald Trump said he was going to lower prices. What's his name? One of the Democrats from California. He's a Democrat representative. I forget his name. Ted is his first name. What about the economy? What about all these steps that Donald Trump is? And I thought, and I think I said as much on the air at one point this morning. Man, here you have Democrats who create this absolutely horrendous mess. And then shame on you because you didn't pick it up fast enough. It's like, okay, can we step out of bizarro world for a minute here and kind of get our bearings and we all cool down? And, it's just absolutely incredible. So you watch that. Donald Trump, where are the improvements to the economy? It's like the house is on fire. He's trying to put out the flames first, and then we'll worry about some of these other things second. And I just find this, another reason that I find it so incredibly laughable is because Donald Trump is keeping his promises. Right? He said he was going to do this. He said he was going to do all these things. Tom Homan was out there and talking about the border and saying, hey, if you're in the country illegally, do yourself a favor, get out of the country. Do it now. We're not going to give you a hard time. Just go ahead, leave the country if you're here illegally, because eventually we're going to come and get you. So do yourself a favor, leave the country, don't come into the country. If you're coming into the country, don't do it. And despite that, you just have, I mean, it's amazing. I mentioned in the final hour of the program this morning, we are talking about what's going on over in Minnesota. Is that not a train wreck? That is just absolutely incredible what's going on over in Minnesota, where Democrats are doing all of these things that the courts have said, you know, no, you can't do this. That's illegal. And so on. Trying to take all of these actions because Republicans wind up with in the majority by one, and the Democrats won't show up. They don't want to show up for the session, and they're trying to be sworn in, and they're doing that illegally. It's just like Minnesota is the poster child for what's wrong in this country. You don't need to look any farther than what's going on in Minnesota. And I say that very respectfully to those who are in Minnesota. I can't imagine living there. I would just absolutely be frothing at the mouth, given what we see happening over there. That's the Democrat Party today. That's the Democrat Party today. So, and we talk about Democrats and the next election and what are they going to do? I'm like, man, it's going to take longer than 2 years to dig yourselves out of that mess. I mean, seriously, I think it's going to take maybe a better part of a decade to dig yourselves out of this absolute mess that you find yourself. It's just takes my breath away. Pretty crazy. I wanted to see what other stories I've got here. That one. Okay, let's move on here. A little bit more on, did any of you watch Trump's interview with Hannity last night? If you did, share your comments with me. Share your comments and I will go through those. Yeah, Sean, Democrats are going to be whining for at least the next 2 years. Yeah, totally agreed. What did Steve say here? January 21st, one of the headlines I read said, Trump fails to deliver on his day one promises. He didn't end the war in Ukraine. I know, it's crazy. It is just absolutely absurd. And this is why, okay, you put yourself in my shoes. You do what I do. You want to see what's going on in the world every day. And that's the kind of crap you got to work with. Just blatantly bogus, false. And so one of the things I've had to do is identify websites that are credible. And I go, okay, this I know, this is credible. And I see other things, so on. The media is just absolutely lost. Don't you wonder how much longer the legacy media can last? Because that thought must go through my through my head 10 times a day, that I must I'm like, how in the world? And how are they not changing? How is somebody in the leaders of these companies not going, hey, this is a model that's not working? I mean, in terms of fulfilling our mission and making money, because we're all about making money. I think everybody understands that. We're all about making money. It's why I come to work every day, as much as I love hanging out with all of you. But, I'm getting paid. Okay, I'm doing my job. But I just can't believe that there aren't more people at these news organizations that just go, yeah, you know what? And I thought maybe we caught a glimmer of that with the story I shared with you, and this was on the air yesterday. CNN. And CNN, in their inauguration coverage, the leader, the president of CNN, getting folks together, and they had like 100 people that were there and saying, okay, let's not go down the road that we have been. Let's not, Let's concentrate on the inauguration, what's being said, what's being done. Let's not, now you didn't put it this way, I am, but let's not air our grievances. Let's not gripe. Let's not complain. And so there are some that recognize this, but it's just amazing to me. It's not going to change. Just doesn't change. It's the same old thing over and over again. Okay, what's Sean saying here about Minnesotans? Sadly, too many, mostly urban Minnesotans. Keep drinking the Democrat Kool-Aid. Yeah, it's David. That's interesting. And are you talking about that pardon of forgive me, I forget his name off the top of my head. I had the story yesterday. Was one of the pardons that that Donald Trump had issued, and it was for a libertarian, not one of Donald Trump's supporters. It was a libertarian. Very grateful who would. So it's really crazy. Yeah, and I'm with you, John. That I am also waiting for the JFK files, the also the Martin Luther King Jr. files. Trump has said he would release all of that, but he also kind of made it clear it wasn't job one. You know, that was not job one, but he said he would do it. And how the media, it seems, and the Democrats clearly, as I was already saying, they're upset that Donald Trump has not cured the economy. And again, I just think that's incredibly hilarious. Democrats come into your house, they trash everything. They're breaking, China, and they're breaking everything. Everything's disheveled and strewn all over the place. And they expect you, to clean it all up in 5 minutes? And it's kind of this, so he's got all of these major issues, this issue of the border. And what I have loved seeing is them making good on the promise, exactly as they said they would. Tom Homan saying, the borders we're going to come into these communities and we are going to start removing people. He's begging, literally, he's been begging these sanctuary cities and states to work with the federal government rather than oppose them at every single turn. You got an absolute mess. And it really, I think it's got to be first things first. I was a little struck by, the slew of executive orders right out of the gate. 200 plus, I think, executive orders that Donald Trump signed initially. And I had someone on Facebook who had commented about the renaming of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America and was scoffing about that. And I had put the question that I had posed on Facebook. I get a little bit, I get disheartened when people do this, especially those of you who are watching on Facebook. When I ask a very specific question, and then people go, "Why the Gulf of America?" Oh, it's cringing at this or whatever, that he did this, and I'm like, first of all, you completely avoided the question that I asked. I'm asking what do you think are the biggest priorities, so on. And I get really disappointed when folks do that. So for those of you who are watching on Facebook, when I ask a question, if you don't want to answer the question, don't. By all means, don't. I understand that. I respect that. So I ask a specific question, but don't think that my Facebook page is a dumping place for whatever's on your mind. That's why you have a Facebook page. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, you want to make comments like that? Do it on your own Facebook page. I'm good with that. Whatever you want to say on your Facebook page. I'm a big believer in freedom of expression and freedom of speech. But when I ask you a specific question on Facebook, answer the question. Or if you're not engaged by the question, don't. It's really just that simple. I mean, I'm not expecting anything of you that I don't do myself. When I'm out on Facebook and I'm like, oh man, what's this? Yeah, no, boom. Just move on. Just move on. No problem. So somebody cringing about Trump, renaming the Gulf of Mexico, the Gulf of America. And I thought, really, of all of the crap that we have seen in the last 4 years, that bothers you? I mean, boy, that's way, 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 way down my list of things that are going to set me off. Oh, my heavens. And we went way longer than I thought. I've been trying to hold this around 15, 20 minutes. We're almost at the 30-minute mark, so I'm going to leave it there for today. I'm going to ask you, please, hit the like button before you go and spread the word of what we're doing here. I very much appreciate it. We're getting more and more. I've noticed my YouTube numbers are up, and a good number of you are watching on YouTube. I wind up with a larger number of people who actually watch on Facebook. And I'm grateful, regardless what platform you're on. It's just really nice to have you here. So hope you have a great Thursday. See you again tomorrow. Take care until then, and may God bless, my friend.